Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 318 based on novel. So let's start. Acacia tree can only be mine. This trip to the acacia tree is over. After a while, Chi Ziwen took the lead to come within a few meters of the pink light group, staring at the pink light group close at hand, and couldn't help laughing. This light group doesn't seem to be right. And why is that guy Xiao Yang? Seeing Chi Ziwen being so reckless, the other three suddenly stopped moving, tried their best to maintain a distance of 100 meters from him, and thought with vigilant eyes, although they rely on the tyranny of the forces behind him entered here, but because of the strange itch of the power of lovesickness, his strength was limited a lot. Hey, the itch on these guys limits their power, so, this acacia tree is not so easy to get. Acacia tree, come on. Xiao Yang, who was outside the river in the distance, gave a strange smile. The tyrannical soul force instantly discovered some subtle fluctuations in the other four people, and immediately formed a crystal-devouring beast on the palm of his hand. The prismatic wafer was crushed on the palm of his hand. Etc. No, this wave is, rewind. After a while, as Xiao Yang crushed the chip, the space suddenly became restless, and a trace of extremely dangerous aura suddenly emerged. What happened? Quiet me. Looking at the pink light group close at hand, it was extremely quiet at first, but as Xiao Yang acted like this, it became trembling, and an uneasy thought suddenly appeared in Chi Ziwen's mind. Boom. After a few breaths, the pink light group seemed to be injected with some kind of mysterious power, and a circle of invisible energy ripples suddenly emanated from its interior, and then a circle of pink halos appeared in the pink light group. Slowly disperse from the air, so that the entire island below is completely covered with ease. Wong buzzing. In an instant, the itch caused by the power of lovesickness in the four made them unbearable pain. Little bastard, what did you do? Seeing the sudden change, the four of them had no choice but to give up, and immediately retreated to Xiao's side. The itch was relieved, but Chi Ziwen's expression was rather solemn. Boom. At the moment when several people spoke, a pink glow suddenly appeared in the small island surrounded by the river, and it didn't take long to completely fill the entire island. Is that the power of love? Could this be a precursor to the arrival of the acacia tree? After taking a breath, Song Lanfeng forcibly held onto his chest, enduring the slightest bit of severe pain, and immediately lost his voice. Crash. With a sound, above the land of the island, the land suddenly bulged, and all of a sudden, the pink roots slowly fell off from the pink light group, fixed under the land, and even more the power of strong pink lovesickness emerged uncontrollably. This is the arrival of the acacia tree. Rewind. After a while, Kongan also knew something, and his body quickly retreated towards him. The acacia tree perched in the pink light group is impressive, and only when the acacia tree is completely descended can one hope to enter the inner space of the acacia tree, otherwise everything is just nonsense. When the acacia tree came, it was said to be guarded by extremely terrifying power, so even they did not dare to resist for a while. Boom. With a sound, the small island surrounded by the river was instantly completely shrouded by a behemoth, and the pink light group was finally integrated into the island. This is Acacia. In an instant, the five of them couldn't help but lose their voices when they looked at the huge tree in front of them that was nearly 100 feet in size. What came into view, on the small island in the river, and on the ground were all pink roots, and there was an extremely surging power in the roots, which made the four people stay away, and even the roots directly digging into the soil. It was obviously hundreds of meters deep underground, but the stalk was so huge that 10 people might not be able to hug it. At the bottom of the acacia tree, there are roots, but looking up along the thick and crazy roots, there are branches extending in all directions, and the branches are covered with a kind of pink liquid. Flowing slowly, as if it were constantly sending energy to the acacia tree, on the edge of the branches, pieces of pink leaves emerged quietly. These pink leaves seem to be weak, but each piece contains extremely terrifying energy, even if it is a 4-star fighting immortal powerhouse, and they are extremely afraid. In addition to the huge shade of the pink acacia tree, it seems that some creature is looming, and a crisis fills everyone's heart. So that on the pink tree, pink leaves fluttered in the wind, but at the same time, the pink leaves were surging, and bursts of pink energy halo with a rather tyrannical power of acacia, turned for a ripple of energy, it blasted away at the 5 people present. In the 5 people, except for Xiao Yang who temporarily overcome the itch of the power of lovesickness with the help of the holy flame heart, the other 4 were temporarily suppressed by their strength, but at such a close distance, that kind of itch and the power of lovesickness were temporarily suppressed. When the acacia tree echoed, their hearts were shocked. Until now, that kind of acacia power can no longer be suppressed by strength, but this power is deep in the bone marrow, causing unbearable pain. Acacia tree, what's the mystery? Seeing the 4 people around him retreating rapidly, Xiao Yang stood there in disapproval, stared solemnly at the pink ancient tree in front of him, and muttered. With Xiao Yang's perception, he suddenly found out that this was the real acacia tree, but this acacia tree was extremely strong, and it seemed that there was no passage to the interior, which made Xiao Yang in a dilemma for a while. Wang buzzing. After a few breaths, Xiao Yang's whole body was completely enveloped by a strange and unusual pink halo, but these halos just wanted to go into Xiao Yang's body, but were caught by Xiao Yang's chest. The sacred flame heart slowly absorbs, and even constantly repairs the source of the sacred flame that nourishes the depths of its heart. This guy has a treasure that can isolate the power of lovesickness. Catch him. The 4 people next to him were in great pain because of the power of lovesickness. Seeing Xiao Yang's appearance, Qi Ziwen was the first to speak. With the erosion of the power of lovesickness, he attacked Xiao Yang. Wait. The pink leaves of this acacia tree seem to be similar to what I bought. The other 3 suddenly moved and launched a terrifying offensive against Xiao Yang, but Song Lanfeng shook his head slowly. Immediately, gently take out the bizarre leaf that you purchased. Crash. As soon as it was taken out, a pleasant sound came from the leaves. After a while, it was unexpectedly uncontrollable by Song Lanfeng and shot at the huge acacia tree on the island. And following Song Lanfeng's actions, the acacia tree actually sent out a terrifying wave, like the wrath of an earthquake. Boom. Acacia tree? In an instant, Xiao Yang's expression suddenly became stunned as the 3 powerhouses attacked him at the same time. Crash. What's the matter? The 3 powerhouses just took action, but they were attracted by the sudden vibration of the acacia tree on the island. Song Yefeng, what have you done? After a while, a pink halo suddenly emerged from Song Lanfeng's side between the 3 of them, and then shot at the acacia tree under everyone's attention. With a sound, the mysterious leaves Song Lanfeng purchased were instantly injected into the acacia tree, but nothing changed. Is there something wrong? After a few breaths, the place was still extremely quiet, and Song Lanfeng couldn't help muttering, but the only thing that changed was the injection of this mysterious blade. To them. What exactly is going on? The mysterious leaf should be able to open the acacia tree, but why is there no movement? Song Lanfeng said in disbelief. She had seen that leaf from some ancient scrolls, so she would spend 100 million gold coins to buy it, but now it has no effect. Wait. But Xiao Yang was 100 meters away from the acacia tree, standing outside the river, looking up at the acacia tree. From the shade of the acacia tree that covered the sky, he could feel it. There seems to be some kind of intelligence in the acacia tree, and the power of pink acacia contains a touch of ancient and vicissitudes of life. What should I do now? After a few minutes, it was still quite quiet here, and Kongan was the first to speak. Since you're here, there's no reason to go back empty-handed. Join the 4 of us and break the acacia tree together. I don't believe that the 4 of us who are in the middle stage of the 4-star fighting immortals can't crack it. Hu Qianyuan of Meteor Gate snorted coldly. Let's do it. Without the power of Acacia, everyone ignored Xiao Yang, and the 4 of them made a decision in their hearts. After all, Xiao Yang's mere 3-star fighting power was really not in their eyes. Boom. As the 4 had an idea in their hearts, the overwhelming terrifying energy suddenly emerged from their bodies, and the tyrannical attack was slowly brewed by them. With the injection of Song Lanfeng's strange leaves, the power of Acacia suddenly weakened, and the 4 of them lost interest in Xiao Yang. Not right. The ancient existence of the acacia tree, just from its roots, I am afraid it has survived for tens of thousands of years. It is reasonable to say that its own wisdom should have been born. How can it be as quiet as an ordinary ancient tree? And the holy flame in my body is faintly bursting with fiery heat. This kind of fiery heat can only be born when it encounters the flames that are also holy flames, but this kind of fiery heat fluctuation is extremely weak, and it doesn't look like a holy flame. Yang. Xiao Yang kept shaking his head while looking at the pink acacia tree standing quietly and immobile, and at the 4 people who were brewing a tyrannical attack. Xiao Yang's soul power is now extremely tyrannical, and he can predict many hidden dangers with his soul power and holy flame, but when faced with this acacia tree, Xiao Yang has no choice for a while. Boom. All of a sudden, all kinds of fighting chi emerged from the 4 of them, and then slowly merged together, turning into a beam of terrifying energy containing 4 color rays of light, blasting away at the acacia tree. Now, let's see how you resolve it. Seeing this, Qi Ziwen smiled slowly, letting the acacia tree be tyrannical and facing the gathering of 4 people with all their strength. I am afraid there is only one way to go. The four-color beam of light was like a thunderbolt, and in the blink of an eye, it was dozens of meters in front of the acacia tree, and it was about to explode in a blink of an eye. Crash! At this moment, the acacia tree that had been quiet, the pink leaves and shade that covered the sky, suddenly trembled. At that time, a pink beam of light emerged from the center of the shade, and then the four-color beam of light is easily swallowed. How is that possible? Seeing this scene, Song Lanfeng's face became extremely ugly. It's not over yet. After a while, Kongan's expression was also extremely solemn, because the disappearing four-color beam of light seemed to be swallowed up by the acacia tree. Then, what is that? After Shun breathed, the acacia tree trembled, and in the center of its shade, a bunch of pink light groups suddenly emerged. This is... Hearing this, Xiao Yang suddenly raised his head, because at this time, as the acacia tree absorbed the huge power of the four-color beam of light, the island occupied by the acacia tree suddenly shook violently. Even in the shade of the tree, an indescribable terrifying energy slowly swept out, which made Xiao Yang vaguely aware of the emotion emanating from the acacia tree. Anger. Unparalleled anger. This is clearly the anger emanating from the acacia tree. Feeling this extremely strong anger and the trembling on the entire island, Xiao Yang raised his head and slowly stared at the huge shade at the center of the acacia tree. There were about a few pink light in it. These light clusters are quite large, but they are shaking slowly, and they are clearly beating violently like a human heart. In this light group, there is an extremely tyrannical vitality. Rewind. At that time, Song Lanfeng exclaimed. Obviously she had already sensed that something was wrong with these light clusters. Boom. Just when the four of them had just made a move, a pink energy beam instantly completely wrapped the space with a radius of 1,000 meters. 1, 2, 5. 5 light groups. Qi Ziwen's heart was filled with shock at this time, and he spoke slowly. It's too late. The attack just now should have angered the acacia tree. This pink energy should be in existence similar to a formation, and it can't escape. It's now, get ready to do it. The next moment, Kongan slowly shook his head. He wanted to run away now, and it seemed that it was too late. As soon as the voice fell, the four of them hung in the air at the same time, and then their eyes were fixed on the strange lights in the shade of the acacia tree, and under the gazes of several people, the lights burst out with a rather special one after another. Energy. Deep in the shade of the acacia tree, 5 groups of pink light danced violently, breaking out of the acacia tree in an instant, and slowly came to the void of everyone. After a while, the 5 light groups were completely shattered, and 5 old figures suddenly appeared between the world under the shroud of a pink halo. When they noticed these 5 powerhouses, a heavy feeling filled the hearts of everyone, because these 5 people contained a very special power of lovesickness, and even that strength reached the level of 4-star fighting immortals. Later, 5 4-star fighting immortal late-stage powerhouses, and they also have a strange power of lovesickness on their bodies. Such a lineup is really terrifying. How is this possible? 5 powerhouses in the late stage of the 4-star fighting immortals, and they also have a strange power of lovesickness. Seeing the 5 powerhouses appearing for a while, Qi Ziwen couldn't help shrinking his pupils tightly and lost his voice. And, look at their rosy skin, this is clearly a strong man with vitality. In other words, these 5 people are probably walking corpses controlled by the acacia tree. The next moment, Song Lanfeng spoke slowly, with a hint of heaviness in his voice. What is the mystery of this acacia tree? And it can actually control strangers for its own use. Looking at the 5 lifelike powerhouses, there was a vacancy in the eyes of the bodies that were no different from the living, and Hu Qianyuan suddenly frowned. Wrinkled. It doesn't matter, let's do it first. After a while, Qi Ziwen said. Wait. This seems to be the Yunhua Venerable of our Ice and Fire House. After a while, Kongan of the Ice and Fire House stared at the old man closest to him with an unusually solemn expression and said. It is said that the last time the acacia tree came, many strong people from the central region came rashly, and as the acacia tree was acquired by the master of the Ling Yuan, some sect elders were also missing. Xiao Yang's figure came to the fore at the same time. Opened the mouth. Why are you here? Hurry up. Seeing Xiao Yang appearing, Qi Ziwen said angrily. These 5 powerhouses are probably elder-level figures from some sects in the Central Territory. Although I don't know why they were controlled by the acacia tree, after 1,000 years, their bodies are extremely well preserved. The acacia tree has something to do with it, and the power they can volatilize now is probably extremely terrifying. Xiao Yang analyzed. Now, only by defeating these 5 guardians can we approach the acacia tree. I can stop one. After Shurenshi, looking at the 4 who didn't speak, Xiao Yang opened his mouth. In that case, it's not too late, let's do it. Song Lanfeng nodded slowly after hearing this. That's good. When Kong An and Hu Tianyuan heard the words, they couldn't help but glance at Xiao Yang. After all, Xiao Yang was able to say that he could stop a late-stage 4-star fighting immortal with the strength of the late-stage 3-star fighting immortal, which was enough for them to face it. Pimples. At the moment when the 5 people were talking, the 5 lifelike old men slowly took a step towards the void in front of them, and then said in unison. The intruder, death. The majestic and terrifying aura that contained some kind of coercion spread instantly, making this space become restless. You are the one. 7th layer breaking the sky ruler. After a while, Xiao Yang directly locked on an old man with a scar in the figure, and the ancient ruler of different fires behind him attacked directly with a dazzling fighting spirit. Death. The old man with scars looked pale and looked like an empty space. He was attacked by Xiao Yang and waved his sleeves easily. Xiao Yang's dazzling attack immediately dissipated into the void. At this time, the old man with scars' attention, he was also completely attracted by Xiao Yang. Damn, this guy is too strong. Being stared at by the old man with a scar, a huge pressure suddenly emerged in Xiao Yang's body. Obviously, this guy's strength in the late stage of the 4-star Dozian belongs to the real powerhouse. Hey, little guy, I remember. The way to get inside the acacia tree seems to be starting from the roots. As for how to enter, I don't know, but the acacia tree is probably related to the word acacia. Just when Xiao Yang's pressure was greatly increased, the Lord of Soul Eater suddenly said, "Where is the root?" Xiao Yang looked at the root of the acacia tree, and suddenly found that the pink halo slowly wriggled at the root, which seemed a little strange. Hey, don't worry, these 4 people don't have the power of lovesickness. Even if they completely defeat the Guardian, they can't enter the interior. Only you can. He misses. Pick me up. A finger in the sky, call the heaven and earth. With a cold snort, Xiao Yang's speed skyrocketed, and then when he moved at a high speed to avoid the attack of the old man with a scar, a bright finger burst out from his palm. Crash. Xiao Yang's seemingly tyrannical finger just hit the scarred old man, but there was no injury, as if the breeze was blowing weakly. The gap between strengths is really too much. In order not to expose too much of his cards, Xiao Yang didn't want to use the flame swallowing technique, but Xiao Yang's top priority at this time was to temporarily restrain the chasing old man with a scar. Live, as long as you enter the inside of the acacia tree, then all this will be solved. 2 fingers in the sky, break the sky. 3 fingers. Broken mountains and rivers. Zaidu called out, and 2 bright flames pointed directly at the old man with scars. Crash. At this moment, in the face of Xiao Yang's attack, the old man with scars did not take it lightly. His body was full of blue fighting energy, and with the blessing of pink love, he slowly cracked Xiao Yang's blow. Blood-devouring monument. Purgatory array. In an instant, when the old man with scars cracked his flame finger, the formation and the sealing stone tablet fell off Xiao Yang's hands, and slammed towards the old man with scars behind him. Puff, puff. After being attacked by Xiao Yang for a while, the old man with the scar was also temporarily entangled, and Xiao Yang's figure was non-stop towards the roots of the acacia tree. This kid, it seems that he has some skills. The other 4 battle circles watched Xiao Yang's actions, and immediately nodded secretly, but they didn't have any taboos about Xiao Yang flying to the roots of the acacia tree, and the 5 guardians did not solve it. It is naturally impossible to enter the acacia tree. Wong buzz. Acacia tree. Xiao Yang murmured softly just after arriving at the root of the acacia tree. Going directly under the roots of the acacia tree and looking up, Xiao Yang realized how huge this acacia tree was, and that huge pink halo could only be said to cover the sun. However, how do I get in? The palm gently touched the roots of the acacia tree with the dazzling soul power. Xiao Yang could feel the extremely angry acacia tree. Mood. Close your eyes, Shen Shen. Think of your lover in a foreign country. Just when Xiao Yang hesitated, the voice of Soul Eater slowly fell in love. Zana. When Xiao Yang heard this, he didn't know if he was breathing or not, but he temporarily forgot that he was trapped in the battle. In his mind, scenes and scenes of shocking and profound memories on the Dochi continent were reproduced. Brother Xiao Yang is not a waste. He will take back the glory that belongs to him one day. I will always believe in Brother Xiao Yang. 30 years of Hudong, 30 years of Hushi, don't bully young poor. Color scales. This is the person protected by this king. If you want to touch him, ask me first. Yunyun, the valley expels poison. Promise me, don't risk swallowing the strange fire. Yunlanzong, Huazong. Also, Ingying. I'm sorry. A series of familiar memories suddenly rolled in Xiao Yang's mind at this time, and with this scene, the holy flame heart on Xiao Yang's chest suddenly burst out with an extremely hot blue flame, responding to Xiao Yang. Wang buzzing. At the next moment, with the change in Xiao Yang's body, a pink halo suddenly emerged from Xiao Yang's body, and this Acacia power was astonishingly similar to that of the Acacia above the Acacia tree. Power is completely different. Not good. Hurry up and stop him. The four who had just fought with the other four strong men seemed to realize something, and their pupils could not help shrinking tightly. Before the four of them could start, Xiao Yang's body suddenly turned into a pink halo, directly following the roots of the acacia tree, slowly dissipating in this void. Damn it! Seeing Xiao Yang's figure like a halo, he was suddenly sucked into the body by the acacia tree, and the four people including Qi Ziwen suddenly roared in their heart. There are four major sects, but they spent a lot of human and financial resources for this trip to the acacia tree, but in the end, Xiao Yang was only cheap, which made the four of them quite angry. Never mind. There is no part in it. After some struggle, the three of Song Lanfeng directly used a tyrannical attack to knock the guardian back in front of him, and then disappeared here. Xiao Yang, you are alone, but don't forget Xiao Gui and Wen Hua sect behind you. Even if I can't do it, and the Qingyun pavilion is in front of our sect, this time, no matter how many treasures you get from the acacia tree, you have to spit it out for me. As soon as the voice fell, Qi Ziwen immediately did too. Dissipated here. At that time, the figures of the five guardians turned into a beam of light, slowly pouring into the acacia tree, and here, for a time, it was completely shrouded by the acacia tree. It's just that the four of them forgot that the acacia tree, if there is no acacia, even if the gods descend to earth, I am afraid they will not be able to enter it, let alone spy on its secrets. At the same time, Xiao Yang followed the guidance of the acacia tree and entered the inner space of the acacia tree. The space squirmed for a while, and then a burst of white light filled the line of sight. After a while, the eyes suddenly became brighter. This is the inside of the acacia tree? After Shurenshi, Xiao Yang frowned. At this time, Xiao Yang was in a strange space completely enveloped by pink light. Damn, fighting chi, soul power, and even spiritual power can't be mobilized. After a while, Xiao Yang just wanted to investigate, but found that his power was entering the inner space of the acacia tree and could not be used at all, and this space seemed to boundless and extremely bizarre. Don't panic, this should be the inner space of the acacia tree. After a while, the voice of the soul eater lightly felt acacia in Xiao Yang's body. This acacia tree may have something to do with the acacia flame. When I was outside, the holy flame in my body burst into a fiery heat, but now this fiery heat is extremely weak. The Lord exists, so you don't have to worry too much. Hey, this acacia tree is extremely mysterious. Even I don't know any secrets. I just made a mistake and it really succeeded. The Soul Eater also looked at the pink space for a while, so he smiled. In the pink space, there is an extremely strong acacia power, but it is completely opposite to the acacia power in Xiao Yang. Crash. After the blink of an eye, a rather small ancient tree suddenly appeared in the pink space, the size of the palm of your hand. Chich's novels are first published on the whole network. This ancient tree just appeared, and it slowly disintegrated. After a while, it turned into a pool of pink liquid, standing above the void in front of Xiao Yang. This is acacia liquid. Xiao Yang was surprised when he saw this. Inside the acacia tree, it is rumored that there are two treasures, namely acacia liquid and acacia fruit. Acacia liquid, the user can forget all the memories of this life, from the new life, the power of lovesickness, pain into the bone marrow, so the existence of this thing is said to be the divine liquid that some people who try to forget their feelings are painstakingly looking for. Acacia fruit, it is said that this is a special fruit formed by the acacia tree absorbing the power of countless acacias. As for the specific use, there are very few records in the world, so Xiao Yang does not know, but the only thing that is clear is that this acacia fruit is the most precious thing in the acacia tree. Isn't this thing just forgetting love water? Xiao Yang was speechless for a while, not knowing why this dignified acacia tree was born. Idiot, this acacia tree has existed for tens of thousands of years. Naturally, it has a long life and wisdom, but don't be fooled by this thing. And I estimate that this acacia liquid is not so simple. Those strong people outside should have taken this thing and thus be controlled by the acacia tree. The Lord of Soul Eater scolded. However, it's strange. This acacia tree controls humans, and it can keep its human body intact for thousands of years. Xiao Yang nodded secretly. Use holy flame to burn this thing. After a while, Soul Eater said. Great heavenly seed. Xiao Yang heard the words, and a dazzling fiery red flame emerged, directly entangling the pink liquid. No movement. After a while, he found that this thing did not move, and immediately said in surprise, Huaxin Tianyang. After a few breaths, a khaki flame emerged from Xiao Yang's body, burning directly at the pink liquid. Hey! With the joint efforts of the great heavenly seed and the fire heart heavenly rock, the pink liquid suddenly gave off bursts of fragrant fragrance. What is this? Seeing this, Xiao Yang tried his best to smell it. No, this thing is poisonous. After blinking, Xiao Yang inhaled the aroma of some pink liquid evaporated, suddenly felt dizzy and couldn't help shouting. Wang buzzing. In an instant, an extremely dark swallowing power emerged from Xiao Yang's body, protecting Xiao Yang, so he directly absorbed the smell. This devouring power is really mysterious. It seems that everything can be swallowed up. Xiao Yang couldn't help but envy when he saw the Soul Eater scatter a trace of Soul Eater to protect himself. You kid, you can't chew as much as you want, and this devouring power can devour everything, but it's not that simple. The Lord of Soul Eater first scolded, and then his voice was filled with helplessness. Obviously, this devouring power, the power also has some stories. This aroma is a special energy used to control humans, and it can also use the energy of the power of Acacia to keep the controller's body immortal. After all, these guys are too greedy. The Lord of Soul Eater shook his head. Increase the firepower to completely eliminate this Acacia liquid. I am afraid this is just a test to enter the inner space, and the real inner space of the Acacia tree is behind. The Lord of Soul Eater said. Ghost-faced Soul Flame. After a short while, Xiao Yang's hands were azure ghost-faced Soul Flame, khaki yellow Fireheart Tianyang was added with fiery red Great Heavenly Seed Crimson Flame, but at this time, the three flames were deadlocked. Obviously, if it wasn't for Xiao Yang Fenju to neutralize it, it would be extremely difficult to work together. Boom! With the gathering of Xiao Yang's dazzling flame power, the pink Acacia liquid was instantly evaporated. Crash! After a while, there was a sound like glass breaking from this strange pink space, and after a while, a grudge exploded. With the display of this space, the interior space of the Acacia tree was nakedly displayed in front of Xiao Yang. Crash! As the pink void disappeared, a large green grassland suddenly replaced Xiao Yang's line of sight and appeared in front of Xiao Yang, who was standing on the edge of the grassland at this time. On the grassland, wisps of grass and trees wafting in the wind emerged spontaneously, but these small grasses and trees seemed to have extremely terrifying vitality, and they all seemed to be looking towards the center of the grassland. What is that? He slowly raised his head and stared at a sunken basin in the center above the grass. Xiao Yang couldn't help but said. With his tyrannical soul power, he suddenly discovered that something seemed amiss. This should be the inner space of the Acacia tree. After Shun breathed, the Lord of Soul Eater glanced around and said, Go and have a look. After some investigations found that there was no danger, Xiao Yang stared solemnly at the special area in the center of the grassland. After a while, Xiao Yang's figure suddenly came to the center of the grassland, stood on the edge and looked down. A touch of shock appeared in his heart. At this time, in the valley that is sunken in the center of the grass, there is actually a huge space. Above the valley, the whole is flat, but at the core, a huge root emerges, and looking along the countless roots, there above it, a pink towering ancient tree suddenly appeared. This ancient tree is pink all over, and its branches are quite thin, only a few 100 meters tall, but it is exactly the same as the huge acacia tree outside. On the shade of the tree, there were deadly energy fluctuations, which made Xiao Yang have to be vigilant. I'm afraid this is the real interior space of the acacia tree. Those who were strong in the past probably ate the acacia liquid by mistake and were controlled by it. After all, although the acacia liquid has the effect of erasing memory, it has absorbed a lot of the power of the acacia tree, and it can also be swallowed. They have gained a lot of benefits, so they are greedy. Looking at the delicate plants above the valley below, the pink saplings were slowly surging, Xiao Yang said. That seems to be the origin of the acacia tree, be careful. Soul Eater said solemnly. Xiao Yang nodded, and then with the blessing of the black swallowing power, he slowly flew over to him. Wang buzzing. Xiao Yang's forefoot was just facing the valley in the basin, and suddenly an extremely dazzling pink halo erupted above the hundreds of meters tall acacia tree, rapidly facing Xiao Yang. He shot away. Such a terrifying attack, even a 4-star fighting immortal powerhouse could not handle it, let alone Xiao Yang. Boom. The pink halo came in front of Xiao Yang, but Xiao Yang didn't dare to neglect. The dazzling big heavenly seed emerged directly, so the pink halo instantly evaporated. What a wonderful fluctuation. Is this the power of love? After struggling, Xiao Yang couldn't help but say when he came to the palace smoothly. The next moment, Xiao Yang easily came to the core of the valley, standing on the roots of the acacia tree, all those pink roots, as if frightened, suddenly shaking, facing Xiao Yang blast away. Fire. In an instant, the fire heart Qianyang and ghost face soul flames emerged together in Xiao Yang's body, and he easily protected himself. Boom. Following Xiao Yang's move, in the shade of the pink acacia tree, a blushing light group suddenly trembled. Xiao Yang noticed it, couldn't help swallowing a saliva, and looked at the light group vigilantly. At the same time, the two holy flames covering Xiao Yang's body burst out with an aura of extreme fear, and dazzling flames continued to emerge to protect Xiao Yang. What is this? Xiao Yang had never seen such a tyrannical fear erupt from the two kinds of holy flames, and he was immediately a little stunned. Who are you? What is that two-color flame on your body? After a while, a silver bell with a surprised tone rang slowly in the shade of the pink acacia tree. Being so startled by this sudden voice, the two holy flames on Xiao Yang's body suddenly burst into fear, and even Xiao Yang's mind was shaken. This is the spirit of the acacia tree? After Shurenshi, Xiao Yang used all his strengths, and immediately stared at the spirit of the acacia tree vigilantly. Who are you? At that time, a silver bell-like voice sounded, and the voice contained extreme anger. Crash. As soon as the voice fell, circles of pink energy ripples quietly emerged. Even if Xiao Yang tried his best to use it, he was pushed dozens of meters to stabilize his figure. The spirit of the acacia tree? The Soul Eater also said thoughtfully at this time, but it didn't help Xiao Yang, and even withdrew his devouring power. Bang bang bang. After the blink of an eye, a pink light group slowly emerged inside the acacia tree, forming a female figure. The woman is the same as ordinary human beings, except that her body is wrapped in red, and her beautiful eyes are full of extreme terrifying fluctuations. 5-star fighting immortals? Xiao Yang felt a heavy heart, his pupils shrank tightly, and he lost his voice. Why do you have the aura of holy flame? The woman spoke to Xiao Yang in an indifferent tone. Senior, I entered the acacia tree just to find the magic elixir of the dead and the bones, and to save my lover. Seeing this, Xiao Yang also knew that there was no chance of winning by force, and immediately clasped his fists. Fire heart Qianyang. Ghost face soul flame. Even in your body, there is a very sacred flame, but it is extremely weak. Good boy. Listening to Xiao Yang's opening, Qianying said slightly. Forget it, since you have a predestined relationship, I will send you a good fortune, but whether you can grasp it depends on you. But I don't have the magic elixir for the flesh and bones of the living dead, and once you get my fortune, you must promise me one thing. After a short while, Qianying spoke slowly. Senior, please tell me. Xiao Yang was overjoyed when he heard it. In the acacia tree, there are 3 treasures, one is acacia liquid, and the other is acacia fruit. As for the last treasure, after you swallow the acacia fruit, with the power of the acacia fruit, it will take you into the most precious place of the acacia tree. Where is it? There are traces of the elixir of living dead flesh and bones in your mouth. Qianying said slowly. Thank you, senior. Xiao Yang heard the words and said. Don't be too happy, acacia fruit is not so easy to obtain. If you don't get acacia fruit, then you can only say that this time I saw the wrong person. As soon as the voice fell, the figure of the woman also slowly disappeared. Here, he obviously didn't know where to go, but in this valley, it became quiet in an instant, only Xiao Yang and the original body of the acacia tree. Husband, this guy harbors holy flame, it should be able to help us take revenge. Last time, the Lord of the Soul defeated us and robbed the 2 of us for acacia and broken enteritis. This time, let him repay everything. In a certain void, the figure who just appeared walked slowly, but this in the center of the space, 2 magnificent statues were lifelike, and even the center of the 2 lifelike statues seemed to be missing something. This video will end here.